Welcome viewer to another episode of My Story Show. Remember, I normally say everyone has a story behind his life. It all depends on the fate that you find yourself in when you were born. Today we are privileged to have a guest, a wonderful business lady who will be sharing her story with us. Remember, you can talk to us on 0114 131600. I repeat, 0114 131600. Also, you can touch our social media platforms, that is Riverside TV KE, Instagram, Riverside TV Kenya, that's Facebook. You can also email us on riversidetvke@gmail.com. I am your host, Samson Boit. So, Muthoni, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Start by telling us your names.
My name is Prisca. Muthoni Kirago.
Prisca, ulizaliwa wapi? Where were you born? Let me use English.
I was born in Nyeri County, Karatina sub-county, in a small village called Kahashu.
Kahashu is in Karatina, Nyeri.
Yeah, it's in Karatina sub-county.
Okay.
Yes.
How many are you in your family, Prisca?
We are a family of 8. I'm the last one.
Oh, you're the last one.
Yeah, I'm the last one in a family of 8.
We can really see the face. It says you sucked the last drops of the milk of your mom.
Definitely.
Wow, that is good. Prisca, school life.
I was enrolled to Kiamangi Primary School up from since early childhood. I was in Kiamangi Primary School till class 8. After class 8, I passed very well, and I joined Bishop Gadu Girls in Nyeri County.
It's a famous school.
From Bishop Gadu Girls, I joined Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, where I pursued a course in BSc Food Science and Nutrition. Yes.
Oh, so you're very good in food.
Yeah, I'm very good in food.
Wow. After school, Prisca, what did you engage yourself in?
Which level?
After school, after college.
Okay, after college, I worked in a startup company that was just coming up. Although I worked there for only a few months, we were charged with the responsibility of stabilizing the products that company was trying to bring into the market. But after some time, I went to KTDA, where I worked for a period of 6 months on contract basis. That was in the year 2019. I worked from January to March. The contract was terminated. Then for the rest 6 months, I opened a business in the rural area. That's around Ragati area, which is near main campus in Karatina main campus. I did the business for a period of 6 months, then went back to KTDA for another 3 months. That's from October to December. Yes.
Let me take you back. In school life, you said you were a family of 8 and you were the last one. Meaning that you enjoyed the best part of your parents' savings and earnings. Or how was your father financially? Or your parents, let me say that?
My parents are farmers. So I would say they were average income earners.
So you didn't have any challenges with school fees, anything when you were growing up?
I did. Yes. I did experience challenges here and there.
Like?
Lack of school fees at times. In fact, part of my high school was sponsored by NCCK, which is National Council of Churches in Kenya, for the period of 3 years. That's from Form 2. They used to pay part of the school fees, and then we would top up the rest of the school fees. Yes.
Yes, your siblings, that's your brothers and sisters, because they were older than you. Were they not supporting me? So,
in fact, they have kids which are almost my age.
Wow! So there's no way they could chip in share education.
I think with such kind of a setup, we have people dealing with their own
issues.
Yeah, so yes, I had challenges here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but they were all molding me to the person I've become today.
Do you remember a time you were sent out of school, then you stayed for long before you went back?
Not so long, because I remember the one particular incident when I was sent home was when I was in Form 1. I went home, only stayed for a few days. I remember crying so much, wanting to go back to school. But my class teacher, Mrs. Kingecha, was very supportive. And also the principal then in Bishop Katimo was Mrs. Kiragori, came in and supported me and ensured that I stayed in school for the entire 4 years, even when I had balances. So that's how I managed to get to Form 4.
Wow.
So I was never sent home again. That was the only time I was sent home.
Okay.
Form 1. Yes.
That was very good. Now, this small business that you started, is it Ragati?
In Ragati area, Kagoshi,
What
near Karatina main campus.
What were you doing?
Okay, initially, I wanted to do a juicing center. So I started making juices. Those people who are familiar with that area, it's a very cold area. So my business didn't pan off.
Juice and coldness.
Juice and coldness. But they were good. It was helping me with the preservation since I didn't have a fridge. I didn't have a fridge with me. But I would say it was the wrong market for the right product. But later on, I introduced other products, like which are the hot beverages, like tea. I also did maziwa mala at one point.
Wow.
But I think the 6 months I was in business were a huge struggle until I had to close it down and hang my books.
What kind of juices were you making?
I was just making normal juices because from the experience I've gotten as a food scientist and what we make out here was a bit different. So I was trying to come up with something that will the market there would resonate with. But the business didn't pan off at all. I struggled for the 6 months.
Yes.
But I thank God because it was a way of preparing me for what I do today.
For great things.
Yes. And I also picked my lessons.
Yes.
Nikifunga.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you went back to KTDA after now you closed Ragati Juice Center.
It was called Prisca Foods. I remember the name I had given to the business was Prisca Foods.
What is the meaning of Prisca?
It was from my name, Prisca. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So you went to KTDA. What were you doing in KTDA? Packing tea?
KTDA, those who are familiar with the KTDA setup, we have different departments. So initially, I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to do my career progression as a food scientist because in a KTDA tea processing setup, we have food scientists working there.
Oh, yes.
The supervisors mostly are food scientists. They have a background in food. The production manager, the production assistant.
Yes.
So they're all people with a background in food. But since I was at the entry level, I didn't really get a job to practice what I had done in school. I joined the rest of the team that was in the crowd. Nikafanya the first 3 months I was at the green leaf reception. We'll check the quality of the leaf buds that I received from the farmers.
Yes.
And then we'll proceed to withering. Yes, that's the area I worked in. Even for the last 3 months, I worked in the green leaf reception. But towards the end of my 3rd month, I requested to extend my period there and familiarize myself with the other parts, like the fermentation bit, the grind bit, and also the sensory bit, whereby you grade the tea and do the tasting to evaluate the quality of the tea that is produced at the very last stage, which is sorting. Yes.
Now, when you say withering, what is the meaning of withering as far as tea leaves are concerned?
Okay. With tea, for you to get the end product which we consume in our normal tea, tea has to go through different processes.
Sure.
the first stage being the withering bit. Withering bit, the tea leaves are placed on some withering trays. You open up the tea so that it goes through the withering process. After withering, that is when you are able to do the, what is it called? The cutting of the tea leaves. It's usually called the CTC area, cutting, tearing and rolling, so that you're able to achieve the tea leaves that you get at the end.
CTC, cutting, tearing
and rolling. Yes.
Okay.
That only happens after the tea has undergone the withering. Withering, essentially, it's done to reduce the moisture content in the leaves, in the tea leaves.
So what is used to reduce the moisture content? I also would like to learn that.
You also want to learn?
Yes.
Whatever is used, you do withering using some steam.
Oh, yes.
So we have a section where there are boilers. So the boiler produces steam that is used in the withering section.
Okay.
And it's also the same steam that is used in the drying of the tea leaves, because after the tea undergoes withering, the next stage, which is the CTC area, is cutting, tearing and rolling. Then from the CTC, the tea goes to the fermentation, where we have the CF. It's usually a continuous fermentation unit, where we have parameters being controlled at different stages until you attain. Now the tea starts turning. By the time the tea is coming from the CTC, still green, but it has undergone the cutting, the rolling, the tearing and the rolling. So from the CTC, it goes to the CFU, which is the continuous fermentation unit.
Oh, I see. Today I'm going to learn.
You can already picture the
Sure, I can see
the tea process.
Yes.
Okay, that's what happens. By the time by the time it's leaving the CFU, it's supposed to be coppery brown. Then it goes to the drying. And the drying section, it's like drying, we call it drying or firing. In the drying section, the tea stays there for some time. By the time it's leaving, it's black. From now drying, you go to sorting. Sorting, that's where the tea is graded. It has several sieves, and then you attain different grades from BP1, PF1, PD1.
Those classes.
Yeah, those classes.
Wow.
F1.
Wow. It's a good process.
It's a good process.
Tell me, which KTDA branch or office or factory were you working in? Is it Nairobi, Nyeri, where?
I was in Ragati Tea Factory, which is in Karatina sub-county, Nyeri County. But for my internship, I was at Dima Tea Factory. It's still in, we call it Dima, it's in partly in Nyeri, some part is in Kirinyaga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning that you didn't have any challenges with the accommodation, transport, work?
No. Life is very cheap
Down
in the
there.
rural setup. Yeah.
So you
I remember I used to live in a single room. Which
That
was
was
paying
how much?
2,000 per month. Yes, even the business shop that I had, I was paying 2,000 per month. Yes, so you can imagine how cheap life is there. Yes,
That was very cheap, very, very cheap for you.
it was very cheap.
Now, how did you learn to Nairobi? Because that was Ragati Nyeri, now you're in Nairobi.
Now I'm in Nairobi. Okay, at one point, I've always wanted to be in business. And at the same time, I like challenging myself to reveal the best version of me, to keep on growing and to achieve greater things in life.
Yes.
So for that 1 year that I was in Karatina, I always refer to it as a phase that had a huge impact to the person I have become today. But at one point, I felt like I'm not progressing. I felt like I'm stagnant. And I needed to be up to the challenge and go out there and do what I do best, or what I like doing best.
Sure.
So towards the end of the last contract, I'd already made up my mind that I'm going to sell everything and move out of Karatina, go look for greener pastures.
You leave home, you vacate home.
It was a risky step, but I'm glad I did. It was also a bold move, but I'm glad I did.
Yes.
Yes.
So from Karatina, where did you relocate to?
A friend of mine I'm sure she'll watch this. She's a very good friend of mine. Had visited Kenya. She was working abroad. So she had visited Kenya. And at around that time, she was living in Makongeni area, which is in Thika.
Thika, yes.
So I happened to visit her and realized Makongeni would be a good setup for me because I still wanted to do business all along.
Sure.
I wanted to do business all along because that's something I used to do even when I was in campus. So when I visited her, I realized Makongeni is a good place to start life because the market is around there. Houses are not very expensive. So even if it's starting a business, you can build from scratch, bit by bit, because the market is there. Because I still wanted to do something to do with the food.
Sure.
Mostly fruits, because I have a passion for fruit processing and tubers. So at that particular time, I wanted to work with fruits. So I looked for a house in Makongeni.
Thika.
Sold everything. And towards the end of January 2020, I moved to Makongeni.
Just the other year. Okay.
Just the other year. COVID year. I moved to Makongeni. Yes.
Then what did you start in Makongeni? Some other business, or you were employed, or what?
Funny enough, I didn't start anything in Makongeni. Destiny had it that I will find myself in Kahawaskari. So when I got to Makongeni, coincidentally, a friend to my sister linked me up for a job opportunity with a company that operates near Makongeni. So I'm here convincing myself that if an opportunity comes up,
yes,
that means I can take up the opportunity. Since I'm not saved enough, take up the opportunity, save up some more money, and then I start my business. Because all along I knew I wanted to do business.
Now, your parents, were they supporting you in your endeavor to start a business?
Okay, I called my dad. We had lunch when I was leaving Karatina. I explained to him what I was planning to do. And he gave me the blessing.
Oh my. Yeah. You know, there's a special connection between daughters and fathers. So he gave you the go-ahead.
Yeah,
your mom?
He gave me the go-ahead.
Your mom?
Okay, unfortunately, I lost my mom in 2017.
Sorry.
Yeah, so this whole period, I had my dad.
How was it? How was it now here? You are young, you are the last born, and now your mom is grown. How was the situation? How did you manage to cope up? Because I know girls, especially last borns, and their mothers, they are very close. How was it?
Okay. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. Because one, my mom was not sick. Nile kifo that just happens and you're left all shocked. Other than around that time, I was joining my fourth year.
You were in fourth. Okay.
I was in third year.
Oh, sorry.
I was in
third year in college.
Yeah, I was in that day in college. So I took a very long time to heal because coming into terms with her then, and she was very close to me.
I can imagine.
I always say that I live life through her eyes because there's so much about me that was in her, and I learned a lot from her. So I took a very long period to overcome that death. But I'm glad. I still remember her. I still look back and see the lessons that I picked from her. And I always say, whatever I am, whatever I wish to be, I will owe it to her.
Sure.
I picked a lot of lessons from her. And she guided me, held my hand until it was her time to leave.
Wow. Viewers, we are taking a short break, and when we come back, our guest Prisca Muthoni Kirago will be telling us her story now after Thika, because she is destined to be a business lady according to herself. Kindly don't touch that button. Everyone has a story behind his life. Some edit rough, others edit smooth. It all depends on the fate that you find yourself in. Join me, Samson Boit, on My Story Show every Monday, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on Riverside TV. Welcome back, viewers. You are a guest today. Remember, she's telling us her story. I know you are there. You also have a story. If you want to share it with us, kindly call us on 0114 1316 00. You can touch social media platforms, that is Riverside TV KE and Riverside TV Kenya, Instagram and Facebook. Email us on riversidetvke@gmail.com. So, Prisca, this is Makongeni Dika, then you end up in Kauskari. How was this transition?
After I came to Makongeni, I remember I told you there was an opportunity that came up from one of the companies that was operating near Makongeni.
Yes.
So I sent my CVs, but then the day I was supposed to go for the interview, the person I was communicating to didn't remember me.
Oh, sorry.
Then coincidentally, my uncle called me. And I reported to I came to Makongeni. I remember it was on a Thursday. It was on the 30th of January 2020. The following day, my uncle called me. Uncle Hezron Wambogo. So, the previous year, which was 2019, he had plans of setting up a juicing center. So I was like the consultant.
Sure. Oh, that's good.
So we had met. And discuss. I give him a guide on how to go about it. But all along, even when I was trying to figure out how to start my journey when I moved from Karatina, I thought he'd already started. So coincidentally, he called me, I remember on a Thursday, after I'd come to Makongeni on a Wednesday. So he gave me a call. Akaniambia he has never started that business. So we agreed to meet on a Saturday.
Yes.
Same week. We had a very long discussion.
Yes.
And I told him I'm waiting for a job opportunity in one of the companies. By that time, I not reported to the company. That's when he mentioned he had never started the venture. But the shop had been there for over 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yes. So after that discussion, we agreed I would wait for the job opportunity as I helped him set the business.
Okay.
I come train someone and then leave the business. So after I went back to that company, and then they remember me, that was funny. We went the discussion, and then you go to the company and they can't remember even your name.
Very strange.
It's very strange, but it was a blessing in disguise.
Sure.
Yeah, everything happens. I am a believer that whatever happens in life,
Mm.
whether good or bad, it has a reason.
There's a reason.
You may never see the reason immediately, but later on, you're able to appreciate that
Sure.
something happened, whether good or bad, it had a reason
Exactly.
for happening.
Exactly.
So, after that happened, I told my uncle, let me just do this. Him, he believes things are supposed to go this way. And I'm here telling him, I just need a blender, I need a juicer, and then I'm good to go. The rest of the things will follow. Because the shop was initially a chemist. So we even had those cabinets for putting down.
Yes.
But I'm telling him, wait, I just need a blender, a juicer, and I'm good to go. So for the start, he bought a blender, he bought a juicer, he bought an ice cube making machine, and an electric kettle. And that was the starter pack for the juicing center.
Yes.
So during that time, I was able to get the license for the place. And I applied a few other things and I was good to go. So on 22nd of February 2020, that's when we opened doors for Royal Health Juice Center.
So we are about to celebrate a birthday.
Yeah, we're turning 4 years.
Wow, that's good.
In a few days.
Yes. How was the business? The starting of the business? How did it pick immediately, or you took some time?
The starting was tough. I would say tough. Because one, we opened opened the business on 22nd of February.
Yes.
As you all remember, 2020 was that year.
Sure.
When
COVID-19, yes.
So 2 weeks into the business, COVID.
Yes.
So what do you do? Do you close or do you continue the business? It's a new business, remember? It's a new business.
Yes.
And you just started off. And you don't have options. You cannot go out there looking for employment. So what do you do? Do you persist? Do you close? Or you just make a decision? Tell my uncle, I'm not closing. I'll persist. I remained in the business. I kept on listening to what the market was looking for. Someone would walk in and request for something. Because remember, I'm opening a business with faith.
Sure.
No branding, no anything, just an open room where you expect people to just walk in and you'll just explain to them what you do or what services you are offering. So that was my kind of life for the whole of February. Towards the end of March, we did some branding. So that was the genesis of, that was the beginning of all this journey, because with time, we did close to COVID. So around that time, I always say, Dawa kept us in business. Were it not for Dawa, we would have closed.
Now, Prisca, when you talk of Dawa, can you tell us the components of Dawa?
So I remember during my very first week, when I was trying to figure out how to go about this whole new venture, a certain lady came. I was making a juice that had carrots, ginger, turmeric, and pineapple. So she walked in. That was even before COVID was not very haikuwa imeingia sana. So she walked in and told me she needs dawa. She said whatever I was making was like dawa, but she doesn't want my dawa. She wants her dawa. So I had to do it her way. So she told me, just take ginger, garlic, lemon, and some honey. So I am always a go-getter. And I'll figure out how to go about it. So my next door neighbor was selling honey. So the rest of the ingredients I had. But remember, I don't have a sufuria.
Sure.
I don't have a cup. I'm just having my electric kettle and some plastic container. So I made dawa. And by the time it was already cold. So she was disappointed. And then the outcome was not as she expected, because I didn't even boil anything. I just squeezed my lemon, I grated my ginger, and I did my garlic, and that was all.
That was her dawa.
That was her dawa.
But she wanted it boiled.
Yeah, she was disappointed at the end of the day. But I had to sit down and think how better. I always believe in, they always say in Japanese is kaizen. In fact, my current read is on kaizen. Continuous improvement. Like if you do it today and it's not up to the standard that you expect.
Repeat that again.
If you do it today and it's not up to the standard that you want, do it tomorrow.
Good.
Continuous improvement and consistency in what you do.
Sure.
It's the name of the game.
Sure. You
realize results eventually. Because even with any product, anything that you set your mind to do, you have to put your mind focused to it. So that you do it consistently, whether you are seeing results or not, do it consistently. Even in business, sometimes you don't feel like showing up, but you show up each day. Anyway, you have to show up.
Exactly.
So showing up every day. So I improved my dawa. But to my surprise, COVID, we added some turmeric to the dawa. And we also added, I remember one client walked akauliza, nini that was bitter gourd or karera. Sita hii uongeze kwa dawa. Then to my surprise, the moment I added karera to the dawa, and remember that time, sasa niko na sufuria, I can boil the ingredients. Yes. So I'm making some very serious concoction. So during COVID time, watu wangeambiana kuna dawa mzuri inatengenezwa hapa. Even to date, people still come for the dawa, wanaambia kuna dawa ya Royal ama ya Yola. But it was going out of my way to work on that dawa to achieve the results.
Exactly.
So I always believe you cannot achieve results by doing it once. You have to do it today, do it tomorrow, do it the day after tomorrow, until you achieve the results that you want.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Now, in Royal, were you doing it alone or you got some employees?
Okay, for the first 3 months, I was doing it alone. Remember, I'm coming all the way from Makongeni. Makongeni is far.
All the way from Muragati. Let's start from Muragati. It is Ragati in Nyeri. So you're a village girl.
Yes, I'm a village girl. I've never even heard of Dawa. Yes. But remember, I had the exposure from JQuat. But at the same time, the knowledge you get, that transferability of the knowledge you get from school.
From the books.
From the books to fit the reality, the real setup of life. It's a whole task.
Sure.
So it's this transferability. They want Dawa. But why should I do Dawa the Yahweh? That's all the question I have every day. Like, you want this specific thing. Why should I do your way? But there are so many other ways you can go about it.
Sure.
So I had to keep on learning. Initially, I was the only employee. I remember, here Makongeni, by the time the 7 p.m. curfew was being introduced, I was in Makongeni. So you can imagine. I was closing at 4 p.m.
Let me ask you, you are operating from at Kawasukari and you sleep in Makongeni?
Yes.
Wow.
You need to start. In life, I believe, start where you are with what you have, then do the adjustments as time comes, as time goes by.
I get it.
So I would close at 4, but suddenly it's too much. Let me just move. So I moved to Membly bypass. So I remember the first days, my uncle would even go to the market on Saturdays. He buys for me there. The first day we went with him to the market. The other days, he would go to the market on Saturdays, buys the items for me, and I needed to. So in case I need anything in the course of the week, I would buy from Makongeni and then carry from Makongeni to Kawasukari.
By then, you were not conversant with Githurai.
I was not even conversant with Githurai.
You didn't know whether there is a market called Githurai.
We went with him the first day and I got confused. I can't remember where we started and where we picked the last items. But he was always willing, like every Saturday he would go and buy for me items in bulk. The ones that would push me for the week. And in case I just need to top up something, which I can pick from Makongeni market, then carry with me.
You had a freezer to preserve them?
I didn't even have a fridge.
It's good. That is good.
We have a small fridge. I hope you can see it. It looks like a cupboard. The traditional cupboard. It's actually brown in color. So it has a small section whereby which acts as a freezer.
Yes.
And then remember the fridge kakitambo. So my uncle had left it there, and I was using it for support. But you had a few items. Kameja.
Yes.
Yes.
So now this is a Royal. Royal has been born. What challenges did you face? Were you able to pay your rent in Royal? Were you able to pay these fellows whom you brought in later? How was it? Bearing in mind this is COVID, you started in COVID-19 pandemic and things were very big, I remember. So making even money enough was also an issue. Did it come at a time when you were to dip deeper into your pocket to finance the expenses of business?
Sure. I would say the first like 2 months, my uncle would buy even the takeaway containers for me, the soko items. So I would go and to your best. So towards the end of the first month, I think February, I used the money I had saved to relocate from Makongeni to bypass. Then the rest of the items he would buy for me.
So ulikula mpaka pesa stock.
Hapana, hata hiyo ya stock hakuna. You don't even make it. You know, with a new business, before you get your return on investment, it takes some time. It takes a lot of showing up every day, even when things are not working. So that is basically what was happening. But my uncle was always there to support until I could stand on my feet. Alikuwa ananiambia kama kitu iko na pesa. So it reached a point where I could buy the items from the money I was making. So around that time, maybe we need to buy something, because I remember we started with only a juicer and a blender. At one point we needed a sugarcane machine. Exactly. So let me finance the items that require a lot of capital. Then you concentrate on the
small ones.
The small ones. So he gave me a chance to grow, because I would plow back the money I get back to the business until the business could stand. And then with time, with the demand and the supportive clientele that we got, we were able to introduce other products. So with product diversification, meaning more income, So even we were able to bring more employees on board, but we did one at a time. That's why I always advise people, start where you are, because you might start with 10 employees and then the market fails to respond to your product. Because like initially, I thought juice is the area that I would concentrate on, but the market told me no, we have other products that we would want you to introduce. And then with time, like now, we are known for porridge. But initially, we thought we'd be doing juices, but porridge was a need, a demand from the market, which you need to act.
What kind of porridge do you make?
We make power porridge.
Power uji.
Power uji, but we do it our way.
I've heard much about this power uji. People talk about it. You go move to town. There are setups. You find some people, those small stools seated around somewhere taking uji. What are the components of this power uji?
Okay. The components depends with the person who is preparing the porridge. I'm not a fan of uji from Kitambo.
From Kitambo, but now you make uji.
So uji was not my product. That one I testify. It was not my product. It was my uncle's product. Him, he loves porridge.
Wow.
So he would go every morning when he's going to work. He would pass by every morning. But even if it's once a month, he believed he's leaving blessings to that place.
Sure.
So you'd go to a place, takes porridge, takes a photo and you'll make porridge. It will save you when it's cold. And I'll delay until it reached a point. If I'm now, I'll do the research and do porridge my way. So I went around, sampled the porridge from different areas, and I wanted to make something which I would also enjoy taking because I didn't like porridge. Because when you were growing up to the pot idea of ugali.
Yes.
So I never liked porridge. So I had to do porridge my way. So that's something I'll also enjoy taking. So after a lot of research, I started. There are people who are always there to make sure product were perfected. Like the current deputy governor for Laikipia. He was very supportive at the budding stages of the business. He would be there. If it's a new product, we're sampling. Him and my uncle would sample, get feedback until the product is perfect. Even the tea. They will even help me cook good tea.
Wow. So I can see you were in the right hands.
I was in the right hands.
Now,
I got the right support too.
What else do you do in Royal? We talked of uji, you talked of juice. What else? Another products?
So after doing juices for some time, Kafika the good season, so we introduced something like tea, we do mandazi, introduced noma. With time, we've diversified and introduced other products. Uji became our brand.
Wow.
But we have also diversified to incorporate unconventional meals. You can walk into a restaurant and find plantains. You can walk into a restaurant and find rabbit meat. So we're trying to have people consume the same meals, but in different forms.
Wow. That's good. Now, Royal. Is there room for expansion? Have you expanded already, or are you planning to do an expansion?
Okay. Having opened the restaurant, that is Royal Health Center,
yes,
at the beginning of 2020, I always say it's good to have people who will hold your vision and who act as role models and who can see ahead. So when we opened the business at Royal, there was a building, the now Ruhan Plaza, that was being constructed. In fact, they started construction at almost the same time when we opened the Royal Health Center. So I remember my uncle telling me, think big. This building will change the face of Kahawa Sky.
Exactly.
So you need to start looking for space in that building. That one leave to me. I look for the space. Yours is to put in the work and save money.
Sure.
Save enough money so that by the time we are getting there, we'll have saved enough. Even if I chip in a small way. So that's exactly what I did. So we did at the end of, we did 2020, 2021. mid-2022, that's when the Wuhan building was completed.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed to have another branch, and we capitalized on space, ambience, because the Royal Health Use Center had a small sitting space. Sometimes we lose clients who want to sit, and the space is kidogo. So that's how we opened Ayola Foods. We changed the name to Ayola because Royal was a bit hard. People would pronounce it at Royal, Royale. So my uncle challenged me to come up with a name that is catchy, simple, and easy to remember. So that's how we got with
Ayola Foods.
Yeah.
Now, in Ayola, you do the same stuff that you do in Royal.
Yes.
The same food, same setup.
Yeah, same setup, but now bigger. The setup has a bigger sitting capacity. Yes.
Now, Prisca, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I look forward to have franchised Ayola to different.
Why not Royal? Why are you? You know. Funny enough, people like the new things and the old things. Why are you forgetting Royal?
I'm not forgetting Royal. Yeah.
You are talking of a franchise Ayola. Not
Ayola. Royal is still part of Ayola.
Okay.
In fact, the name changed to Ayola. So that we've not done the rebranding.
Wow.
But we look forward to rebrand and franchise Ayola in different counties. And then maybe by the 10th year, we'll have branches across East Africa.
Across East Africa.
Yes.
Oh my God, bless you for that.
Yeah. And we have also said I look forward to set up a winery and a fruit processing workshop whereby we'll be making jams, marmalades, juices. For the winery, we'll be making fruit juices and fruit wines from fruits.
Wow. May God bring these dreams into perfection. Now, assuming that I'm new, can you give us directions on how we can reach the place, the exact location of this business? Where are you situated? Which buildings? Yes, give us.
Ayola Foods is located in Wuhan Plaza, Kahawaskari, right just next to Quick Mart.
Yes.
We are on ground floor, room 23, next to Farmer's Choice Stockist. Yes.
Royal
is located in Barengo Road, that is still in Kahawaskari, opposite with this arcade.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let me get to some personal questions. Yes. Now, being fresh from school, this is Prisca Kirago venturing into business, and you are very fresh from school. There's something we normally call peer pressure. Did it ever at any time affect you?
It did, but I didn't succumb to the peer pressure because one, remember when you just completed your undergraduate, people take different paths. That's why up to date, I always advise people and I always tell people to embrace their uniqueness. Embrace your uniqueness and also appreciate the fact that we are all on different paths. The fact that we are all on different paths, appreciate where you are with the picture and a focus on where you want to go. Because when you're right from school, people expect you to take a specific path.
Exactly.
People expect you to go to employment, have a salary. But remember, I ventured into a completely different path. In fact, for a year plus or 2 years, I was working on this in silence. I didn't even shout about it on social media because I'm building in silence, and maybe to some of the people we schooled with, I looked like a failure. Remember, you're starting off. When you're starting, sometimes no one believes in your dream. Unfortunately, you can get a few, but I always say, even if you get someone who believes in your dreams,
yes,
that's enough.
Yes.
Because to achieve results, you have to relentlessly work on that. upstream. Results are not achieved overnight.
Sure.
It's a continuous process.
Mm-hmm.
And the in-between, where you start in the results, it's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So the in-between, that's where most of us give up. You get discouragements from all angles. So it's up to you. Since this is what I want. Because I remember at one point, my uncle akiniambia. Because remember, once you set your mind to achieve this or to follow a particular path, there will always be distraction.
Exactly.
Funny enough, I got jobs after I started Royal.
Wow. They started calling you?
They started calling. The first company that didn't remember me, they gave me a job offer. A very good one. 2 weeks. Remember, you just starting. You hardly even making a gross sales of 1,000. Someone is here offering a job in the midst of COVID.
It was too tempting.
You are contemplating whether to take the job or
continue with your hustle.
I remember one of them called and I told them, no, I'm in business. Remember, this business is not even it's not even paying. It's not even paying me. But I had already made up my mind. This is the path I want to follow, and this is the path I'll follow to the end.
Wow. Now, your family, your siblings, do they know what you are doing right now?
Yeah, they do.
Are they part of your clientele?
They live quite far, but whenever they are around, normally pass by.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me, how do you do your marketing? Of course, I know there are things that you need to market because not everybody, you may depend on working clients, but there are things that you need to market. How do you do it?
Okay. One, for the first, I think 3 years, I relied basically on walk-ins and referrals.
Yes.
For the first 3 years. Because remember, one, I was venturing into a whole new niche of products. Food is huge.
Sure.
So I always tell people, niche down and find your niche as a foodpreneur. Then focus on it. You have the niche for unconventional dishes and healthy dishes. So remember, they're a whole new product. I'm discovering they can at a territory, a line that has not been ventured.
Right.
So what I did for the first 3 years, I was offline. I was doing the marketing offline. That is basically word of mouth, referrals, and walk-ins. Because once a person is satisfied with their product,
yes,
they're likely to refer their friend and tag them along next time. So the first years we did offline. Remember, you also stabilizing the product. So we needed to be sure. For me, I believed I needed to be sure to perfect the product to a point. Now I can shout about the brand of online. Because online, I believe online can build or break you. Because remember, something like porridge. Porridge I did my way and actually stressed me very much. But remember, my uncle has been insisting, porridge is a big thing. Utapata wateja wa porridge, even when it's cold or when it's hot. When he realized I was taking too long, I'm left him. I'll never come there until you make porridge.
I'll never be part of your business now.
I'm left him. You used to come in the morning. So when I'm here, Prisca, listen, I'll never come there until you make porridge. So I had to challenge myself. Because I take a lot of time before introducing a new product. I want to research. And also, I want to understand the nitty-gritty of a particular product. So that when I start off, even if I encounter challenges, I'll be able to maneuver easy. But now here I am. Porridge nimeanza. I remember I just went to Kamukonji, bought calabash, thermos, and a few items, and I took a photo. This is the Uchi starter pack.
Yes. I'm ready now.
I'm giving for you a sample today. I'm ready and good to go. So, but you maneuver the challenges as they come. So,
it's about the marketing.
About the marketing.
Yes.
So remember, imagine such a product. I didn't get the best ratio, best combination at the beginning. So remember, if I was shouting about the brand, or what if I was shouting about the brand, So I decided to do it offline, perfect the product, and then shout about it. Even today, much as we are online, I shout about the brand a lot online, different WhatsApp group, marketing WhatsApp groups within Kawaskari, because that's where most of the clientele is.
Sure.
But still, with a new product, I take time because we want to test, we want to get feedback. With my team, tunatengeneza, tunajiambia. Today, haijatokea vile tunataka. Let's just consume it. You can another one tomorrow. Yeah, that's how we go about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very good. Now, Prisca, to me and my observation, I can see you are a youth ambassador. I want you to talk to the youth, especially the freshers from school, because when they leave school or they finish their classes, they assume they are white-collar jobs all over. So somebody says, I need to be employed by the government, this private institution. Yet there are avenues out there that we can use to make money and do a better living. Please, I would like you to face that camera and talk to the
youth. To the youths out there, I always believe we're gifted differently and we have different abilities and talents. Besides what we gain in school, we need to challenge ourselves to look for opportunities out here, because opportunities are everywhere. Only you identify them, work on them, and also I always believe you need to identify a problem, then bring a solution to that problem. Once you offer a solution, it's like you're offering value. Once you give value, money comes. It is that simple. Because in whatever field someone is in, there are opportunities. Only you look at them closely. And once you do, sell value. Offer solution, but at the same time, sell value. Once you sell value, money comes. It's that simple. But you have to be ready to be part of that process. The process in between before you make that money, it's tough. It's not easy. But you have to be a resilient person and you have to have grit so that you can achieve those results. Opportunities are there. I find like you can make like now I'm about to launch wine from plantain. The wine, I was actually trying to solve a problem and I came up with a product. I had recently introduced plantains as part of our meals, as a snack, and as an accompaniment. But the market was not very aware that I have the plantains. So I got over ambitious and ordered plantains in bulk, zikaiva zote. So I needed to go back and try to come up with something to salvage that situation. And that's when I started working on how to make another product from the same plantains. So any product I make, I try to look at how to make sure I reduce the losses. If it is doma, I'll make doma for breakfast. I can use the same doma for uji. I can cook the same doma as a lunch meal. So at the end of the day, there are no losses that are incurred. And I have solved that problem. I've also offered an alternative meal for instead of the normal, because I want to shift the mindset of people. I also want to challenge people to consume things differently, because why should we be taking ugali every day? That's such at every one point we are complaining that the prices of maize have gone up, while we have other foods that we can use as accompaniment, especially the tubers. So look for a problem in your field, because we are in different field and we are also gifted differently. We also have skills and maybe even talents which you can monetize. So just be open and be willing to learn and grow. It's a process, but it is doable if you focus and put all your energy into achieving it.
Wow, that's a good advice. But remember, there are challenges. Viewers, our time is running out, but I feel we should not close the show before Prisca Muthoni Kirago appreciates some people who have held her hands in a journey of life. Prisca, please. Kuna mwalimu, Madam Mrs. Kigesha. Kingecha. And there is Mrs. Kiragoli. And there is your darling Ango. Oh, this man, may God bless him. This man has really helped you. Plus the DG, please. I would like you to appreciate these people. Face that camera, appreciate these people because they have walked this journey of your life with you. Kindly appreciate it.
Okay. I am a believer that at anyone's stage of life, you need someone to hold your hand. You cross a certain bridge, we're at the next level. And I'm hoping that I'll also be able to hold so many people's hands so that they can move to the next level. So as you've listened to my journey, I want to appreciate people at different stages of my life who've held my hand and who've helped me to be the person, who've molded me, who've helped me to be the person I am today. So one is Mrs. Kingecha. Mrs. Kingecha was my high school class teacher from Form 1 to Form 4. That madam believed in me and she believed in my ability to perform and made sure my school life was comfortable throughout the entire 4 years. Thank you so much, Mrs. Kingecha. And the other one is Mrs. Kiragori. Mrs. Kiragori was the principal back then in Bishop Kachim. That lady held my hand. She made sure I'm not chased from school, even when I had balances. And even at one point, when I was picking my certificate, she helped me when I still had a balance. And she believed me. She told me, Prisca, I believe will come back and pay. And she assisted me. From there, that transition to campus, I also want to appreciate a lady by the name Wamoyo in KWS. Wamoyo assisted me when I was in camp. There are even instances where I was in the verge of missing the exams. She came through and assisted me. Not even once, not even twice. And even at one point, she secured for me a job in one of the companies where I would even go during holidays and make a few coins that would help me survive in campus. From there, that was campus. After campus, that transition, Kagati, my uncle,
Mr. Hezron Wombo.
I don't think I'm able to finish a day without mentioning my uncle because he's been my biggest support system. Even on days when I believe these are not working, he'll be there, he'll give a guide, and he believes in me. Sometimes I even believe he believes in me more than I believe in myself. Even when things are tough and when we happen. Because I even remember when that building was constructed, ikafika mwisho. I called him one morning, nikamwambia, Mungu nifikiria. Hiyo nyumba tuachane nayo. It's too expensive. Akaniambia kwa. He believes you follow something to the end. And he believes if you set your eyes to achieve something, you'll achieve.
You'll get it.
You'll get it. So Nehemiah, no, you don't just give up. You face the challenge. And I was ready for the challenge. And Nehemiah, what is the big thing you're going to lose? Nothing. If the business doesn't work, you pick the lessons. The only thing you lose maybe is your rent.
Sure.
Because if it's investment in terms of furniture and my equipment, you move with them. So he's been my biggest support system. And he believes I'm destined to achieve bigger things. Maybe someone else.
Mr. DG.
Yeah, I want also to appreciate the Deputy Governor of Laikipia County, Mr. Ruben Kamori. Ruben, ours is a journey. When I remember that shop had talked about when I was in Karatina around Ragati area. At one point, I felt I was not growing in that particular area. Nikaenda kutafuta nyumba karibu na campus. Coincidentally, he was the landlord. Back then, hakuwa amekuwa deputy governor. So I told him, this is the dream I have, this is what I want to do. Lakini sina pesa. When I heard of the amount of money the houses were being charged, I felt isitaweza. So I went back to employment. Nikamwambia, I've changed my mind, let me go back to employment. Tafungua biashara baadaye. But I didn't know that will make it kawa gari. So he supported me since day one. And he became part, it's like he became part of the business. I remember they even days to besema, kesho tunafunga. We are doing this. And I said, huwezi funga biashara yetu. Like, he believed in what I was doing.
Sure.
Another person I also want to appreciate is Stanley. Stanley Kalajijo. When I was transitioning and trying to open up the branch, at one point nilikwama. And I needed a lot of money. So I called him. And I just want a guarantor. I remember it's a lot of money because it was over $500,000. He signed the loan for me. He wouldn't have signed if he didn't believe in the dream I had.
Exactly.
So I want to thank you.
Thank you so much, Prisca.
I don't know if you've been part of this journey and I've not mentioned you. Just know I appreciate the role that you've played in helping me grow to this level.
Sure. Thank you so much, Prisca, for sharing your story with us. It has been a journey, but we thank God because you have really made it. And one day, one time, you will stand somewhere and say, yes, when I look back, I have done it. And that was God. So when you wake up, you tell God, I know that was you. I know that was you, God. Wonderful so much. We really appreciate for your time, for sharing your story with us. May God bless you and may God fulfill your dreams. I know you have big plans for Ayola and Royan. I'm sure God will bring them to perfection. Viewer, that marks the end of our show, My Story Show. Today's guest was Prisca Muthoni. What a guest. She has given us her story. If you look back her journey, you will not sleep tomorrow. You will just wake up and move because you have to be somewhere doing something, being innovative. Thank you. May God bless you. Let's meet next week for another episode of My Story Show. I was your host, Samson. Bye-bye.